Another one of shoot and spin target systems that comes with a stand is what I think they call their super swinger, and basically it's a 3/8 AR 500 plate, you know, across the thickness, and the diameter across the face of the plate, you can see it's kind of in a circle with a couple of ears, but the circles is 12 inches in diameter. It's hanging on what appears to be maybe 5/16 chain. It comes with the bolt, lock nuts, and the stand right here, and I'll show assembly of it here in just a second. Okay, what I'm going to try to show is how simple and easy it is to put together the super swinger target system. You know, just like their small swinger target, you know, it comes with a stand that's made from 5 pieces of steel here, and then you've got a target plate. The target plate already came with the chains in place and installed, bolted in place, so there's no need to take that apart unless you end up shooting the chain. So for assembly, what I've found is if you lay it out flat like this, then if you take these legs right here and feed them in sort of like this, okay, you see there's just a little bit of a trick towards getting them fed in there, just because of the width of this gap right here. But if you do it like that, and you can see that one went a little bit better, then it's going to be easier to stand these up when we put it on top of the stand. So the base itself just fits together like that. Pretty simple and easy. And then you just take the plate and stand it up like that. And there you go. Should be ready to go right there. All right, this is at 100 yards with a 308 Winchester. I'll have to look and see what the kind of ammo it is. It's Herter's. It's probably 147 grain full metal jacket with the shoot and spin 12-inch super swinger Gong style target. Alright, you can see that that last hit ended up knocking the stand over, and I thought there may be a chance that might happen, especially if you get the target swinging good. We'll stand it back up like that. Now, there's a good chance that some of that might have been due to just maybe the way it was sitting. Maybe there was a ridge right there. I'm going to slide it down and to where I get some better contact on the ground, maybe for all 4 feet. I'll flip that back out. The plate itself, you know, at 100 yards with the 308 Winchester, at the AR 500 plate, I mean, there's little tiny divots right there. You can see those right there, but I mean, that's exactly what to expect with AR 500 plate at this distance with a 308 with full metal jacket. The plate's doing great, and which I expect it would do great. The stand, we need to try to get it, pay a little more attention on getting it level, and we'll send a few more rounds at it. All right, we're going to put another 10 rounds into the plate. I got the stand as level as I could, front and back. You can see that the dam slopes a little bit right there where I've got it. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but we'll put another 10 rounds into it with the 308. So now we've got a 223 set up at 100 yards with some 55 grain full metal jacket, and we're going to burn through a magazine, which I think he's got 30 in the magazine. Okay, here's the shoot and spin super swinger after a mag full of 223 full metal jacket, 155 grain. You can see it's still standing. The 223, he had it swinging a little bit there, but it never put enough into it to get it to turn over. Clearly, you can see that you're going to get splatter on the side rails, and as far as the surface, let's see if I can get in here. You know, it's you know, I've said this before, AR 500 steel plate is can clearly handle 223 rounds, 308 rounds, and more. The back of it, you know, there's no dimpling, there's no denting or anything. It's solid, which is what you would expect from a good target. The stand itself, you know, it's loose, but that's loose by design, so it goes together easy. The 308, you're able to get it swinging a little bit to tip it over. So yeah, maybe the bottom feet could stand to be a little bit longer, front to back. That might help the tipping situation. But you know, there's some value in lightweight portability. But I think it's doing pretty good. Okay, on the super swinger target here, one thing I want to point out is when I set it up, I had it really level. The ground was good, but you can see as you shoot it, you can see how it started digging in the back there. So clearly having longer feet would be a benefit to help it stay more stable, because over time it is going to, you know, start digging in and swing more. Okay, we're going to put another magazine through the shoot and spin super swinger target here of AR 223 at 100 yards. Here we go. Now that my range testing is over, I want to show some details on the target and the stand. And you know, this is just the results of the shooting session that I went through. And I know we shot at least 20 rounds of 308 at it, and probably, I'm going to say close to 100 rounds of 223. You could go through and try to count the dots on there, or the splatter marks, but there were several misses, so that's an approximate number. Now, a couple of things to notice. We'll start with the plate, and right off the bat, just anytime you're dealing with shooting steel plates, you know, what you'll notice is they'll get covered with lead dust. Okay, so you know that right there is lead dust. It's on the plate. If you're touching it with your hands, you're going to get lead dust on your hands. So whatever you do, make sure that you wash your hands before you you eat or anything like that, or start contaminating things with lead dust.
The plate itself held up great. The AR 500 it does a fabulous job for steel targets, and that's exactly what you see here. None of the 223 or the 308 rounds, none of them put any significant damage into the plate. There's some little teeny divots right where the tips of the full metal jacket bullets hit, but other than that, there's nothing significant that's on the face of the plate. When I turn around and kind of look at the back side, and it may be hard to see, what I'm trying to show is there's no there's no depressions that are sticking out, or not depressions, but bulges that are sticking out. So you're not getting any deformation at all in the plate. Now, that's the plate, and that's going to be the most durable part of a target system. When you start getting away from the plate, then you become limited by the materials that you have to work with. And it just seems like with what I've found with a lot of my Gong style targets is that there's just certain things that are going to be prone to wear. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. It's like right here, you can see where the head of that bolt was hit with some round. At some point, the head of that bolt's going to be shot enough that the bullet's going to hit it and it's going to knock the shank of the bolt out. I have that happen quite often. Another thing to point out here is the chain. You're going to shoot up chain. You need to consider these items that the target is hanging from as consumables. When you buy a Gong style target, you just need to consider them that way. Have you some spare chain, have you some bolts on hand. I also use S hooks to be able to go between the chain and the holes in my plate, and those work pretty good. But again, you're still going to end up replacing those. The stand itself, as far as the uprights and the base down here, what you're going to see is that the uprights and the base are not made of AR 500. Most likely, my guess is they're probably made of some type of mild steel, and you can see right here that we had one of these uprights take a bullet. Over time, it just depends on how many times it takes a bullet. You might have to replace one of the uprights. Again, you got to look at certain aspects of this as a consumable. As you get up here to the upper part of the target system, it gets thinner right in this area right here, and you're going to have situations to where damage is going to occur, and you're going to have to replace that. It's just a matter of how frequently you shoot and how wild or crazy or how unexperienced your shooters may be whenever they're shooting at your targets. Shoot and spin system right here is pretty good because these are easily replaced parts. You just contact Shoot and Spin and say, hey, I need another one of these uprights right here, and they send you another part. Another example here is it looks like we had a round hit the crossbar down here. And that put a pretty good dimple in there. It kind of try to get around and show the backside if I can. Not sure if you can even see anything, but yeah, it's actually protruding out. So again, with their design, that part's easily replaced. Now, if you start looking at the proximity of the plate to this lower bar right here, it's only about, I don't know, 1.5 inches below that. It's going to take hits, and I'm surprised we didn't put some hits in that area while we were shooting it. You're just going to have the mindset that there's certain parts that you're going to replace. Potentially, Shoot and Spin can make that out of AR 500 steel and make that particular bar more durable. And I hope they take this feedback and consider that, because that is clearly an area that I could see could take several hits, many more hits than the uprights would. During the shooting, you saw that the stand tipped over a couple of times, and it's just all about footprint. and potentially increasing the length of this portion right here of the stand could also decrease the it could give it a more stable footprint. So that's something to consider. A couple of more comments I've got on the stability of the stand. In the video, I show us knocking it over. We had it set up at 100 yards, and clearly once you get this target system swinging, you can knock it over. Although we didn't, I'm sure we could have knocked it over with 223. You have to consider, what your shooting situation is going to be. For example, whenever we go through and we put gongs out at 200, 300, 400 yards, typically we're not, unloading a magazine of 223 or 308 into the target, and it's taken, a shot, settles out, takes another shot. So our fire rate is much slower. Because of that, the stand could be very well suitable for your longer range distances where your fire rate is not as high. So, when you're considering the stand as whether or not, it's good or bad, you have to consider the portability of the stand by keeping it small, and also weigh that against what your particular use is going to be. The Super Swinger Target has an MSRP of about $125, and that includes the shipping and handling, and this is direct from Shoot and Spin. As they are able to set up more distributors, there's a potential that price may go down some with a little bit of competition. But overall, when you consider you're getting this 12-inch diameter, 3/8 inch thick AR-500 plate along with the hanging hardware and a stand, it seems like it's a pretty fair deal. I've enjoyed it. The target itself should last a lifetime. The plate itself should last a lifetime. And with the way that the components are designed, if you do happen to damage one too much, then I think if you just contact Shoot and Spin, I'm sure that they could probably sell you a replacement component.